Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Maverick News Channel. Great to have everybody here tonight. Sorry for the delayed beginning. Just having some more computer challenges. We had to go through a complete reboot just moments before joining you live here tonight. But we're back. We're here. Fear not. We will give you today's top news stories, including information on this delay of sentencing for Donald Trump until after the presidential election. Information on Iran apparently still targeting the Trump campaign with cyber warfare and information warfare. We'll dig into more information on the information warfare front, and we'll also look at other aspects of the U.S. presidential election, including who among the Republicans is going to be voting for Kamala Harris instead of Trump. So we'll get into all of that, and we'll also touch on this story out of Canada tonight about a terror suspect arrested in Quebec who, we're told, was plotting to attack Jews in New York. So stay with me. We have all that, and we'll give you all the opportunity to guess what tonight's Maverick Midnight Matinee movie is going to be. So stay with me. We'll have it all right after this.
He's a fighter. He's a survivor. President Trump, defiant, strong. He is determined to make America great again. Pay tribute to the 45th President of the United States with this collectible t-shirt from the Maverick News Memorable Moments collection. Even a would-be assassin's bullet could not stop him. Instead, he emerged with his fist in the air ready to fight for freedom. Get your Trump Fighting for Freedom t-shirt with any donation of $30 or more to Maverick News. There are two iconic artistic designs to choose from, but there is only one way to get these. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Support free speech, free media. Support Maverick News. Call 1-866-248-1490 or order online at supergeeks.tv.
Where's Dragon? Dragon, I tried to get a hold of you today, and it was like the phone wouldn't work. Like your phone wasn't ringing through or something. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, I sent you an email. Hope you're okay, my friend. I was looking for you. Just nothing important. Just checking in with you. I just haven't spoken in a little while. So, just want if anybody knows, is Dragon okay? I'm just checking in the chat. Are you in there tonight? I don't see Dragon in there. Well, maybe he'll be along a little later. Who else is in the chat? Johnny is there. David Doyle, hello, sir. Dog Mom, Paul Charles, Sadie 1000. We be jammin'. Hello, 6590 Norfa. The gang's all here tonight. Who else do we have? Christina, hello. Canada RV's there. Isabel, hello. Jesse. Steve, Shaunavision. Jesse again. Who else is with us tonight? Well, it's a pretty good start. We'll see where things go tonight. Yeah, it might get a little clunky, a little bit rocky, the ride, because, as I say, had some computer problems. But we're fully functional now, I think, so I'll try to get through these links and clips and so on and make it as smooth as possible. Even though all the stuff I had queued up before, not really queued up now, so we got to re-queue on the fly, but that's okay. Let's start with this information about a Pakistani citizen arrested in Canada. This person has been charged with plotting a terrorist attack in New York. Mohammed Shazib Khan, 20 years old, also known as Shazib Jadoon, lived in Canada, tried to enter the U.S. to carry out a mass shooting, allegedly, at a Jewish center in Brooklyn. This according to the U.S. Department of Justice. Khan was arrested by Canadian police in Quebec near the border on or about September 4th, so some 2 days ago. This information coming from U.S. authorities. The defendant, they say, is alleged to have planned a terrorist attack in New York City around October 7th, which would have been tomorrow, a month from tomorrow, with the stated goal of slaughtering in the name of ISIS as many Jewish people as possible. U.S. Attorney General Merrick B. Garland made that statement in a news release. And he expressed gratitude to Canadian authorities with a message to Canada's Minister of Public Safety. So, developing story right there. What else do we have for you tonight? We have this story about Donald Trump. His sentencing in that hush money case is going to be delayed until after the election. Maybe I should mention this other story first. Because we just told you about that arrest of the suspected terror suspect, ISIS terror suspect, in Quebec on his way to New York. There's also this other story about a vehicle in Red Deer, Alberta. John, out in the other John, our good friend John Scotty Rimby, sent me information on this vehicle owned by a Ukrainian that was vandalized with xenophobic messages in Red Deer. A number of media outlets picking this up tonight. I'll show you the local media coverage. This is the Red Deer Advocate with their version of the information as released by police, and you can see, excuse me, this vehicle included F Ukraine, get the F out of my country, go home, Ukrainian thieves, and it is being investigated as a hate crime. So just a brief mention of that. There's plenty of hate going around out there, unfortunately. So what do we know about the Trump situation? Well, this New York judge has delayed ruling involving presidential immunity. Let's see if I can get you the clip there. I had it queued up earlier, but I'm working on it here. Well, we do have Jean Carroll leaving the courthouse. Let's go to that clip first. Here we go.
Move back. Let's keep moving.
The hurricanes, the earthquakes, the volcanoes. None of y'all reporters is paying attention to that. Y'all worried about Trump.
They're almost there.
Station on the warning station to let the world know, because I can do that. I can end the war right now. I can end all wars right now. I am Elijah the prophet. And the Bible.
Wait right here.
That station.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes. Yeah, but by the booth, by the booth. By the booth, by the booth.
That's why I have you in the station, so the wars will stop. The wars are popular.
Yes.
The government knows exactly what I'm talking about. I am Elijah the prophet and the Bible. I know exactly what's going on. It's time for all troops to come out.
Okay, I've got a few clips lined up here.
No, he's gonna come along.
It's part of the beast Kamala playing out.
No, we have. Is there room in the back?
Yeah.
I probably all plenty of that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I get first.
All right.
Thank you. Okay. We got it. Step up. Push. Yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you.
That's what that looked like. Let's take you over to Mr. Trump himself. Give you a little taste of what he had to say about all this today. Okay, sorry, the old computer's still a little sluggish here.
This is a long and complicated web and story, but it all goes back to the DOJ and Kamala and Sleepy Joe and all the rest of them. We have a whole rigged election system. Nobody's ever seen anything like what's happening. Now I understand. Yesterday they're bringing up Russia again, that they've done for years. Never found anything. But they should be looking at China, Iran, lots of other places. I haven't spoken to anybody from Russia in years. They know that, but it's a scam. But it all goes back to the DOJ because we had a trial today. It's an appeal of a ridiculous. This is a.
And okay, here we go. Here's another clip from today.
Public understands it's a hoax, it's a scam, it's a political witch hunt, and Some of you should be ashamed of yourselves. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
In the end, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Typical Trump. So prosecutors from Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office say they would defer to the court on whether an adjournment is warranted to allow orderly appellate litigation of any appeal, but would be prepared to appear for sentencing and any future court date, la, 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 la. And so here we go, and we ended up with this new date after the election. So where does it all leave us? I think it's a good thing, honestly. Let the people deal with the more important matter at hand, which is the election, and see where we end up on the other side. If he is elected, I think that this court case pretty much will go bye-bye. And if he is not elected, then maybe he'll have more trouble on his hands, or maybe they won't care at that point, because maybe they won't see him as a threat anymore. So maybe it will just fade away. I suspect if he isn't elected, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble, because they're going to want to make an example of him. And I think that is the way that it is. Now, he also touched a little bit in that one statement on the Russia thing, and we brought up this story yesterday about these indictments. 2 people charged in connection with a media company that the Department of Justice is alleging is connected to Russian payments, and social media influencers also being paid, maybe even unknowingly, through this system. And it is a real thing. I'm convinced of that. I don't think it should surprise anyone to hear or learn that there is a Russian information network out there. It's not just Russia. It's every country. We've talked about it many, many times. Information warfare, propaganda, and straight up journalism, too. There is a network out there. It shouldn't surprise anyone. Now, the indictments are not really about free speech. At least they're not supposed to be. It's about payments from a foreign government and not registering as a foreign agent. So there are legalities involved, and if money was being essentially filtered or laundered, or if the payments were taken without proper steps being taken to disclose, make full disclosures as required under U.S. law, then some people might have a problem. The tentacles of this investigation coming all the way up here into Canada, with some social media influencers on the Canadian side being, sort of named in all of this as well. And some people, these are, I think, all exclusively, I think they're all conservative or described as right-wing or even far-right media personalities, favored, or maybe who favor the Russian position on a number of issues. I would also say that influencers like Tim Pool, who we talked about last night, who was paid through a contract with a company called Tenet Media, receiving a substantial sum of money, according, allegedly, to the information released by the Department of Justice. I'm not surprised to hear him say that he wasn't aware, because these media, the media network wouldn't necessarily be using or even manipulating all of the players that they pay money to. I think what you're seeing is a mix of legitimate attempts at journalism. And then there may be others who are not really trying to practice traditional journalism, or maybe even not even practicing journalism at all, but they're actually out there pumping a Russian narrative, and maybe even knowingly. And they're also contributors to a particular media platform. And, free speech needs to be protected. But if people were taking money illegally without properly registering and accounting for it, then they'll have to be held accountable for that. The narrative, of course, being spun up is that this is an assault on free speech. You're talking about, when I look at the list of the most prominent names involved in this, it's people like Dave Rubin, who was named, Tim Pool on the Canadian side, Lauren Chen, Lawrence Southern. And again, I think those names, probably they were not even aware, nor were they even directly influenced necessarily by Russia to put out the kind of information they put out. But the media outlet that would have been using their content to put on a layer of credibility and to attract an audience to their media platform, where all kinds of information that is published there would then be available to the people that come over. So use real journalists to build an audience, and then if there is propaganda injected in there through other influencers who maybe are not as popular, but they then have an opportunity to expose their content. I think that's kind of the way it works. And I'm not even saying that Tenet Media is a propaganda or Russian funded news outlet. I just know that there is kind of a network out there of pro-Russian journalists, pundits, and propagandists. Duh. Now, I will say this about the Department of Justice too, and this is me editorializing on this. I think that they could have done a better job of dealing with this if they were going to, instead of waiting until now to file these charges. I think they probably had a handle on this and what they wanted to do. They wanted to test this in the courts some time ago, but they waited until now. Now, I can't say for sure when the investigation might have reached a point at which charges could be laid. Maybe it was some time ago, maybe it was just recently, but my guess is if they knew now, they've known this was going on, whatever it is, for better or for worse, legally or illegally. They've probably known about it for some time, but they waited until now, a couple of months before the election, and that is because there may be some political motive behind it, because or maybe it's simply because they see this as an attempt to influence the U.S. presidential election. And so they felt that now would be the appropriate time to lay the charges. But I don't really honestly think that's wise, because now it looks like it's politically motivated. They should have done it before. Now, maybe they didn't have a choice on the timing, but if they did, this is not wise. And it undermines further the credibility, the confidence in the justice system, which is already strained, and I would say even in terms of trust and confidence, at an all-time low in the United States. We can ill afford that as a society. Further degradation of that trust is tragic, so we need to take steps to preserve that. And of course, we need to make sure that we are preserving free speech, which we stand for here as well, which is a cornerstone of freedom and democracy. So they need to be very careful how they handle this. That being said, they also owe it to the public to make sure that the integrity of the elections are maintained. And that means maybe taking the steps they've taken now. We will learn more over time. And they do seem to have a trail, a paper trail on the money. And that alone, if true, should be enough to not only secure a conviction, but maybe convince some people that what they're talking about is authentic and real. Time will tell. But we're seeing receipts on payments of, $400,000. Is it, I think, a month? To at least one online influencer, and a $750,000 payment I think I saw going out to another. Big money. Boy, if someone offered me that kind of money to produce videos and sit in this chair, well, I'd be going, is this legit? What do I have to do for that? Just sell your soul? No, not going to do that. Lest you end up in the slammer-rammer. You don't want to go there. The whole thing needs to be held or dealt with very, very carefully. And as Donald Trump said, maybe they should be focusing more on China and Iran. I don't think they're far off the mark, honestly, focusing on Russia. I don't think there's any question Russia has made efforts to influence our elections. Don't think there's any question about it at all. And in some cases, maybe even improperly. Who knows? We just need to get more information on it, but that's kind of where we're at with it tonight. Trump saying they should be focused more on China and Iran. And I think Iran and China, but especially Iran, appears to be very focused on Donald Trump. I think there's an assumption out there that these foreign governments are working to try to help Trump. Not so with Iran. And I can show you even now. Here's an NBC story about what I'm talking about. Iran. And this is a story released also by the DOJ and the FBI. Iran cyber operations continue to target the Trump campaign. They say it's likely still underway. We told you about this story, boy, I think at first must have been 2 weeks ago now. And here's what I'm talking about. Sorry, folks, we lost the feed there again for a moment, but we're back. I hope you're still with us. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, we're getting hit with something. And that's why we had trouble earlier too, and why stuff wasn't really queued up properly for this broadcast. But we'll continue, and hopefully this all continues properly. We lost one of the channels as a result of that disconnect. Frustrating, very frustrating. Oh, well, anyway, as I was saying, this is the NBC story, or the NBC version of it. Mainstream media picking up on it. Independent media as well. Of the upcoming election, and Tehran will probably continue the operation as part of his broader goals aimed at undermining America's democratic process. This according to the FBI. And this FBI official quoted by NBC is quoted on condition of anonymity. They announced that their campaign had been hacked and that Iranian actors had stolen and distributed internal documents. Stolen confidential material was then leaked to 3 news organizations, Politico, the New York Times, and the Washington Post, but those outlets have not revealed details or published what they were given. Okay, I'm back again. I'm sorry. Internet just shutting us down again. More and more trouble. Yeah, I'm sorry, Sandy. It keeps freezing. Yeah, just locked out. Anyway, I'm back. It seems to be working. We'll try to muddle through and make this work. We'll see how it goes. I'm doing my best. And yeah, on the election front, yeah, he's the former vice president, of course. And he says he's going to vote for Kamala Harris this fall. And it was his daughter, Liz Cheney, who first made that information public. But now both of them, it looks like, are endorsing Harris. Cheney, of course, a Republican. Let me see if I can find you that clip, which I had set up for you. I'm back. Wow, what a ride. What a mess. what the heck is going on with the internet and the computer. I don't know. They just keep kicking us off. But I'm back. Thanks for still being here. So yeah, Cheney gonna vote for Harris. So here was Liz Cheney talking about this. First up, let's bring up her clip.
Texas, you guys do have, I want to say specifically though, here in Texas, you guys do have a tremendous, serious candidate running for the United States Senate, and his name is...
You're stepping on the news, guys. Let her speak. Let her speak. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's not Ted Cruz. But Colin Allred is somebody I served with in the House, and somebody who really, when you think about the kind of leaders our country needs, and going to this point about, you might not agree on every policy position, but we need people who are going to serve in good faith. We need people who are honorable public servants. And in this race, that is Colin Allred. So I'll be working on his behalf.
So that not about Trump or Harris specifically, but here is the statement. Directly from Dick Cheney, former vice president. Here it is. He says, in our nation's 248-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He can never be trusted with power again. As citizens, we each have a duty to put our country above partisanship to defend our Constitution. That is why I will be casting my vote for Vice President Kamala Harris. I'm on, I'm off, I'm on, I'm off, I'm on, I'm off. The internet is possessed. Or maybe it's Rumble. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Is it Rumble? Maybe Rumble's under attack. Don't know. Just back to the whole thing about this internet, and as it relates to the accusations of Russian meddling through media, the thing, here's the thing. It's not free speech that concerns me. It is malicious speech and malicious activity, malicious information warfare That concerns me. And as an example of what I'm talking about, last night, as this story about the indictments against those two people connected to this case came to light, this campaign, a mini campaign ramped up to criticize the U.S. And I'd say these were pro-Russian influencers, and no issue with what they did. They went out there and they started to immediately express concerns about this. Fair enough. But what also happened, and this is just one thing, there were many things that happened beyond that, and this is the kind of stuff that concerns me, stuff that was like an outright lie. There were posts that went out online saying that arrest warrants had been issued for the CEOs of Gab and Rumble. And when I first saw it, it looked completely authentic. It was sent to me by some people, and I thought, well, what the heck is going on? This information, of course, gets a lot of people very upset very quickly, I might add. It's complete bunk. It turned out to be completely fake. There was something about it after I looked at it, after a few minutes, I thought, I don't know about that. Let's find out more about it. So I started just poking around, and I quickly realized and found out that the stories were 100% fake. The information was not true. The CEOs of the Gab and Rumble social media platforms, there was no arrest warrant for either one of them. But that lie, I'm sure, is still embedded in a lot of people's minds tonight, and they think that that's what happened. And that just amplifies the anger that is out there among people who believe that the DOJ is really assaulting free speech and freedom of expression. When in reality, the story is yet to be fully told. We don't have all of the evidence. There is definitely evidence of information networks, not just journalism, but information networks from foreign governments in play in the United States. And yeah, I think that there's you'd be a fool not to understand that foreign governments are going to be involved and make an effort to influence the U.S. presidential election. Some of it is covert, undercover, flying under the radar, in some cases making use of influential people. In other cases, it's just blatant right out in the open. And we saw Vladimir Putin actually engage in a form of election interference this week at the Eastern Economic Forum. When he was asked, he responded to a question about who he would like to see win the U.S. presidential election, and he said Kamala Harris. That sent some people's heads spinning, a lot of people's heads spinning. I said last night, I don't think that you should just take that at face value. I don't think he really wants Kamala Harris to win the election. I think he would probably prefer to have Donald Trump win the election because, well, Trump has a position on Israel that I think actually runs contrary to, well, I know that it does run contrary to what Vladimir Putin's position is on it. I don't think Putin cares that much about what's going on in Gaza versus what's going on with the war between Russia and Ukraine. And Trump, of course, if elected, there's every indication that he might pull funding. And his running mate, J.D. Vance, has stated clearly that he really, I think his words were, I don't really care what happens to Ukraine. So do you think that those guys are going to support ongoing funding for Ukraine? Highly unlikely. And Trump says that he'll end the war on the first day if reelected. It'll be one of his first orders of business when he gets behind that desk in the Oval Office. How would he do that? Well, I think he would say, okay, let's sit down at the table. You keep that. You do this. Everything stops. And I think that, I've got, larger views on what is likely to happen in that scenario, but definitely favorable to Russia. I would say to have Trump in the White House. That being said, having Putin comment on it, it's like a mind twister. It's about really destabilizing the U.S. as much as anything else. It's not really about him supporting a candidate. He's not doing that. But what he has done is he's causing confusion, causing chaos in a little tiny way, contributing to a bigger information storm that is flowing over America right now. He lends his voice to it. Just, who would you like? Well, what he should have said, as I said last night, is the American people will decide. Stay out of it, remain neutral, not try to influence anything. But no, he couldn't resist. And if you look at him, he's you can tell he's laughing inside. And you can see this look on his face is a look of mischief. He knows. Just by saying that, it's disruptive. And he's probably had it researched to figure out which way he should respond, knowing he's going to be asked that question, in order to get the maximum amount of disruption. Here I am talking about it tonight. It is having an impact, isn't it? But I don't really think he wants Kamala Harris in the White House. Maybe he does. Who knows? I don't think he's got much respect for her. To be frank, I think he's kind of, I think he was kind of mocking her. He was laughing at her. Mocking. Well, no, he was, he was pretty much making fun of the way she laughs. Well, he was smiling and laughing inside. He wasn't just laughing inside. He was laughing at America. And the chaotic, disruptive, beautiful system of democracy that remains at least partially intact in the West, in the United States. Well, I think that's where we're at with that. Let me take a little break, and we shall return. Don't go.
Maverick News. Fighting for freedom.
Someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, before we move on to other stuff, I do actually have that clip now of Dick Cheney. I'm going to run it for you, explaining why he doesn't like Donald Trump.
In our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual who is a greater threat to our republic than Donald Trump. He tried to steal the last election using lies and violence to keep himself in power after the voters had rejected him. He is a coward. A real man wouldn't lie to his supporters. He lost his election, and he lost big. I know it, he knows it, and deep down, I think most Republicans know it. Lynn and I are so proud of Liz for standing up for the truth, doing what's right, honoring her oath to the Constitution, when so many in our party are too scared to do so. Liz is fearless. She never backs down from a fight. There is nothing more important she will ever do than lead the effort to make sure Donald Trump is never again near the Oval Office. And she will succeed. I am Dick Cheney. I proudly voted for my daughter. I hope you will too.
I'm Liz Cheney, and I approve this message.
Not much unity from that corner of the Republican Party for Donald Trump. I guess they're over in the area occupied by the Lincoln Project. Still a lot of talk about that Project 2025. There's the Democrats still trying to pin that on Trump. I'm not sure it's working. I see a lot of posts saying that Trump's adopting Project 2025, yet I don't see it on his website. Not sure that he actually said it today either. Nevertheless, that's where we're at with that. Have you taken note of what's going on with Molson Coors? They're putting an end to their diversity, equity, and inclusion policies, their DEI program. You remember all the ruckus over what happened with the Bud Light going woke controversy and what that cost Bud Light? Well, now Molson Coors in Canada, in an internal memo, which was obtained by the Canadian Press News Service, Molson Coors is saying its DEI employee training is complete and that it will no longer have specific representation goals in its hiring process. So this is a Canadian-American multinational corporation, and it says it will no longer participate in the ranking program by the Human Rights Campaign, which is an advocacy group that scores companies on how inclusive their workplace practices are, especially toward LGBTQ plus members or people from the LGBTQ plus community. So the company says it's going to start relying on internal metrics instead. And they'll also be using feedback from employees to develop what they're calling a strong workplace where everyone can thrive. So Human Rights Campaign previously had awarded Molson Coors a perfect rating on its DEI chart, and so far has not directly acknowledged this change at the brewery, but has made a note that some business leaders are turning their backs on what they're saying is turning their backs on a commitment to inclusion. So, of course, we know this change at Molson Coors arrives as companies in the U.S. are on, I don't know if it's an increasing level now or maybe if it's peaked, but a lot of companies supporting, adopting, embracing this DEI strategy, social program. But I think this might just be, just a little crack in that dam. Things are going to start maybe, the pendulum maybe going to start to swing back a bit, because I think that those kinds of programs sometimes can become, can go too far. And I think that we've seen a lot of that in workplaces. So we'll see where it goes. I don't know. Tonight on Maverick Midnight Matinee, 10 p.m., we have a movie lined up. And now Johnny, he called me during the day today, and we talked about it, and we picked a movie, but I'm not going to run this movie that Johnny and I spoke about tonight, because as I did further research, I'm not sure that movie, which I'm not going to name. I want to save it as a mystery for another week, if we can run it. But after doing more research, I'm not sure that legally we would be able to run it without running into a copyright issue. So I picked a different one, and I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to give you a few clues and let you guys guess what this movie might be. So the first clue is First Manned Mission. This feature film features humanity's first manned mission, but not to where you might expect. It was supposed to be a trip to the moon, but things went awry. So I'll throw that out there as a first clue. Let me check the chat. 10 p.m. tonight. Any good guesses off the hop here? And a Decipher Loop actually commenting on the DEI story. Decipher Loop saying, I've lost out personally over the years because of DEI hiring practices, aka we are equal opportunity, which means if you don't check the boxes, you might as well walk out the door. The lovely one says, oops, my computer went down. What's the clue again? Okay, so the clue is First Manned Mission. This film features humanity's first manned mission, but not to where you might think. It was supposed to be a trip to the moon, but things went awry. No cheating. No cheating. Cheaters never prosper. Let's check over on Rumble. Any good guesses? Apollo 13. Nope. Nope. Man in Space. Nope. Coming back over here. Planet of the Apes. Nope. I'm going to plug this phone in. Let me give you another clue. Instead of landing on the moon, the crew ends up on Mars due to a navigation error or fuel mixture issue. Let me see here. I don't know. Any other guesses? Capricorn 1. Nope. Planet of the Apes. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. I'll give you another clue. Around how old is the movie? What year was the movie made? Was it? Well, I'll say it was. It's older than the movies that came out in the 1970s. Older than that. I don't want to give too much away. I'll give you this. The Martian sequences in the movie are tinted red, giving it a unique visual effect for its time. Oh, that reminds me of something else. Another thing. I want to run another night that one of my favorites. I have to share this with you guys another night. I'm not going to tell you what it is either, so we can do a mystery quiz. A Maverick mystery quiz on the movie title. Elmo Visits Mars. No. So it's old. Yes, it's old. It's old. It's old. It's old. Jaws. No. Jaws didn't go to Mars. I don't think. Black and white. Yeah. Yeah, black and white. Christina Vance says it's called. Is it called Biden's Life Documentary? Moving picture. Yes, it's old. First Man in the Moon. Second was me, says Yvonne. And over here. One more over here. One more over here. Okay, so the plot includes a moral about the dangers of nuclear war as the crew discovers a Martian civilization that destroyed itself. Monkeys in space. No. Nice try. Flesh Gordon. Flesh Gordon? There's Dragon. I was wondering where you went. I tried to call you today, sir, and got no answer. Like there's something wrong with your phone. I was just calling to say hello, but I was worried. Have you lost your phone? Your phone service? What's going on over there? Are you okay? I sent you an email. Let's see if Dragon responds. The Angry Red Planet. No. The Wizards of Mars. Nope. Nope. Phone went cut off, sir. Your phone got cut off? Well, that sucks. Seriously sucks. What is the question? Okay, I'll give you another clue. So here's another clue. The film features an Art Deco style wall hanging on Mars, showcasing a blend of futuristic and retro design elements. And since you guys are having some trouble, I'm going to... Invaders from Mars. Nope. No, the Red Planet. Nope. Let me do this. Okay. If you want to keep us on the air, here you can support the channel. Okay. And the way you can support the channel is by donating at freedomreporters.com or at maverickdonations.com. Maverickdonations.com. That's the Give, Send, Go, or freedomreporters.com. Now, we do have those Trump Fight t-shirts, still have those available for donations of $30 or more. Can send you one of those. We also have Maverick News t-shirts available for $30 or more for a donation. Can send you one of those. Plus, tonight, I have a few of these socket sets. I think they retail out for $85, I think is the retail on that. You might get it on sale someplace cheaper. I don't know. I think online through Amazon, if you were to order, it'd be like $85 plus tax. Then, of course, if you Stanley lifetime full warranty. It is with a 72 tooth ratchet, 60 piece socket set. Anybody that donates tonight $70 or more to help pay the bills around here, I will ship you a Stanley socket set as a big thank you. So there's that available tonight. $70 or more, but I've only got a couple. So $70 or more, and I can send you the socket set. $30 or more, and I'll send you a t-shirt. And we've got other shirts too, the hoodies and the embroidered polo shirts. We've got those now too. So those are pretty good. The hoodies that we just got in, they have embroidery on them, 65 or more for those. So if anybody wants to help keep the lights on, it would be greatly appreciated. Let's take a little break. We'll come back and continue with the quiz and more of today's top news on the other side of this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching. Maverick News. The world is watching.
We're back, and I just got a call there to let me know that you guys are talking about this story about, I'm assuming it's this story about the Grand Chief of the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs has died. Grand Chief Kathy Merrick collapsed outside of the Manitoba courthouse today. She was speaking with media following the not guilty verdict for Robert Jeffrey Morton in the death of William Amo. She collapsed. She was first elected in a 2022 by-election, becoming the first female chief in the organization's history. Re-elected to a second term back in July. And being mourned tonight. Being described as a fierce advocate for her people. And condolences coming in from across the country from leaders nationwide. We have some photos of her here that we can share with you tonight. Here we are. Chiefs of Ontario saying Merrick will be remembered for her advocacy for all First Nations in Manitoba, specifically highlighting efforts on her behalf to ensure the Prairie Green landfill will be searched for the remains of victims, women murdered. Mercedes and more internet troubles, extremely frustrating. So let's try and get through the at least a couple of other items here. Sorry about that. Internet cutting in and out. Let's just go back here and see if you guys have guessed the movie name yet. Anybody get it? Anybody? A Trip to Mars? No. Nope, 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 nope. Nope. Here, you know what? I should look something up here. Here we go. All right. All right. No, nobody guessed it, as far as I can see. All right, we're cutting in and out. I'm going to try to run this for you. Nobody got the name of the movie, as far as I can. Frustrating. Here it is. This is the movie that we're going to run tonight. Rocket ship XM.
The distance between the Earth and the Moon at its closest proximity is 238,000 miles. We expect to cover this distance in approximately 48 hours.
X minus 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spam the can. Whoa! Zoom through the universe. On the screen's first story. Man's first conquest of space.
90-degree turn completed.
Reduce power.
Starring Lloyd Bridges.
Thrill as you get a moon's eye view of Earth. Streak through a barrage of hidden dangers.
Meteorites!
Oh my God, meteorites! They're throwing rocks at us. Whoa. If they get hit by one of those, they're goners. And they thunder between planets on a runaway rocket!
25,000. Prepare to jettison tail section.
Blast your ass off in outer space. Jettison your tail section. Go for broke. Bars or bust. You've read about it. You've talked about it. Now see it. Rocket Ship XM. Tonight on Maverick Midnight Matinee, 10 p.m. Eastern. Right here on the Maverick News Network. And I'll be back at that time. There's no sense in trying to continue the program much longer because it seems like the CIA, FSB, FBI, KGB, ABCD, EFG, HIJK, LMNOP agencies are determined to shut us down. Tonight, internet's not working real well, so I'm going to wrap it up early. I'm going to reboot everything again, reset the internet, and hope for best. And I'll see everyone back here, I hope, at 10 p.m. That's in just over an hour and a half, at which time we will present Maverick Midnight Matinee and the feature presentation tonight for the watch party, Rocket Ship XM. Love you guys. See you then on the flip side.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.